All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome to another commercial real estate tactical broker training where we believe most brokers, residential, commercial, M&A, or business brokers, they struggle with clarifying, working on their skill sets every single week, clarifying negotiation, sales, communication, underwriting, proposals, and the purpose of cold calls, the purpose of the first meetings, listings, and really just helping their clients think and helping themselves and their team members think of ways to be innovative with the way that they present, communicate, and close deals. My name is Brett Swarts, and I'm the founder of Capital Gains Tax Solution. I'm also a commercial real estate broker with eXp Commercial. And each week I am joined by some of the best, I believe, in real estate. And there happen to be some amazing people that are focused on helping their clients achieve at a high level. In particular, one gentleman, his name is Brent Silberbauer. He is in Northern California, and he is a multifamily and residential agent, and he is amazing at what he does. Brent, how are we doing?
Doing great. Glad to be here.
Excellent. So, Brent, we've been talking the last few weeks about a number of things, and it's always good to get back to the basics. So, why don't we do a 3-minute back to the basics, and then we will dive into today's topic, which is to be determined as we talk through this right now, based upon your answers and where kind of this thing goes. So, what is the purpose of the cold call, Brent?
Purpose of the cold call is to get the in-person meeting.
Is in-person meeting? Could it be Zoom? Could it be in person? Does it have to be in person?
It could be Zoom if they're like in another state or another state that's far away. But when you're dealing with commercial real estate, a lot of times these deals are large, and it's worth it to drive. We together drove from Northern California, down into Monterey, is a few hours away for a listing, and it's worth it. It just is worth it. So if you can get an in-person meeting, even if it's 2-3 hours away, do it. If it's 10 hours a flight, that might even be worth it. But if not, you can settle for a Zoom if that's necessary.
Yeah, and by worth it, we mean you're more likely to win the business, of course. But why? Because you're more likely to actually understand where the client's coming from and what they're saying, what their actual challenges are, which leads into the second part of the conversation, Brent. Once you're in the meeting, what is the purpose of the first meeting?
Well, really to ask questions. It's kind of like a doctor. You go into you hurt your ML or gosh,
MRI?
Yeah, you need an MRI. You need something like that. They're not just going to get you right in there right off the bat. They're going to ask you a series of questions. They're going to find out about yourself. So basically, you want to build rapport, build relationship, have them do 80% of the talking. You do 20% of the talking, and see if you can solve their problems. See if a proposal is warranted at the end of the meeting.
Right. In other words, you want to figure out where they're at right now. What's their main goal? Like, where are they trying to go? What are they trying to achieve? What are their dreams? What are their ambitions? You want to locate problems and challenges that are holding them back from their goals and their ambitions. And you want to explore exactly what they're trying to accomplish. And some questions you might ask is, what do you want to accomplish through this, this meeting that we have today, right? What do you want to accomplish with your real estate investment? What do you want to accomplish with your wealth and your legacy? What will be different if you reach your goal? I think this is really interesting, right? What will be different if you reach your goal and sell for the price that you want to sell for? What would be different if you didn't have to deal with that challenging, toilet trash liability, the government regulations with rent control, that tenant who's not paying rent and you're having to evict, this is the third tenant in the last, year and a half. And what will it look like after you've accomplished that goal? What will your time, your energy, your freedom, your whatever that is that you're trying to accomplish, what will it look like? And that, I think, is really, really important to really define and understand the goal. And the second part about this will be the exploration. The exploration is the next step in the process, and it comes immediately after setting the goal, right? And in order to move towards goal achievement, as a good broker, a good agent, you want to make sure you're walking through a process of exploration, but also reality check of the situation and what's happening, right? So some things you can ask for to open people up would be what, Brent, to get people talking and thinking through some of their some of their current reality?
You can ask them who, I don't know.
Sounds like.
Oh, sounds like, feels
Question.
like. Yes, yes, label and mirror. So mirror to get them to talk more. So if they're saying like, I want to have passive income, you say passive income with a curious upward inflection at the end of it. Yeah, passive income because right now I am doing all these different things. Oh, all these different things. Yeah, well, I got to approve these remodels. I got to choose this and that, my cash flow, something, So as you mirror, you get them to speak more, and then you label. It sounds like you're kind of fed up with the toilets, tenants, and trash. Am I way off base here? And
That's
then
good. And on that label, by the way, you did a perfect job on that. What are you actually labeling? You did it perfectly, but what specifically are you labeling?
you're labeling their emotions and how they feel.
Perfect. Yep.
Yeah.
You're labeling their emotions and how they feel, right? You said it sounds like, or it feels like, or it seems like you're a bit overwhelmed, but frustrated a bit, whatever that emotion might be, with the toilet's trash liability, with whatever that might be, with perhaps not being as passive as you want it to be, right? So you're labeling these emotions, and you're mirroring to help them open up. Because when they say, "Oh, I want it to be more passive," if you just assume that you know what that means, well, guess what? You probably don't, right? It could mean a lot of different things for a lot of different people. Passive could mean, oh, I hired a property manager, so I'm passive. Passive could mean, I need an absolute triple net deal where I don't even have to think or talk to a property manager, deal with property taxes, deal with insurance. I just get a check in the mail. Passive could mean, I've got enough passive income to offset my expenses of achieve financial freedom, like the Robert Kiyosaki cash flow model, right? It can mean a lot of things. So don't assume you know what it means. So mirror what they said, and then once they talk more, mirror maybe a couple more. So you're really diving into the reality of what's going on. You might even say, give me some more background. What led you up to be in this situation? You mentioned that you always feel blank. Give me a specific example of the time that happened, including the details, what was said and done, what happened, right? In other words, you're helping them to explore where they're at with their current reality. And then what? Well, then you want to not only label the emotions, but you want to clearly articulate that you understand where they're coming from by it sounds like, it seems like, it feels like, and you want to get a what, Brent? What do you want to begin to say?
That's right.
That's right. Exactly. That's right. And that could mean moving to the next part, which is options. Okay. And so this is the process of thinking creatively, right? And essentially helping them to think outside of just the box, and also really help that you, the agent, me, the agent, me, the broker, us, the brokers, to help us think outside the box. Because guess what? The worst thing you can do as a salesperson is walk in there thinking that you already have the answer, you've already solved the problem, and you've already got this perfect solution to their problem. And so what happens? Your mind becomes so narrowly focused on what the outcome you think should be, instead of keeping an open mind and thinking creatively, right? And making it safe. And I say safe in the sense of invite creativity to be opened up with the client so they can think outside the box. And it's like a brainstorming session. It's just like, hey, let's take off all of the potential challenges to your situation, and let's think of this in a creative way, and let's think about what could we do here to help you move towards your goal. What are the options, right? Let's just what are the top 5 options you could think of, Brent? So if you're going to be selling the property and you have capital gains tax, Brent, what are the top 5 options you can think of? Go.
Number 1, DST. Number 2, 1031 exchange. Number 3, lease option. Kind of interesting one. Number 4, seller carryback. Number 5, liquidate and pay the taxes.
Here we go. That's great, right? Just quickly, let's just think about all of these different options, and let's explore what's even a possibility. What other options can you think of, Brent?
You sell it and you have a lot of capital gains. I listed 5.
Maybe
I don't know.
sell, and maybe not even sell. Maybe just refinance.
Oh yeah,
right?
maybe not even sell. Maybe just hold on to it. Maybe refinance it. Maybe bring in a partner or something like that.
And the point is, think of this like your mom or dad or your uncle or your aunt, right? You're helping your grandma, your grandpa. You're helping them make the best decision for themselves. It's not about you and what you think is best for them, or about your commission, or about your closing thing, or whatever, right? And what would you do with your parents? You'd say, Dad or Mom, do you even have to sell? Like, Does it even make sense? Why don't you just refinance? Do you even have to do a 1031? Do you even have to do a DST or Deferred Sales Trust or Delaware Statutory Trust? Maybe you want to consider an opportunity zone. Maybe you want to give it away to charity. Like essentially, let's just put a blank canvas on the page and let's just start writing out the different potential options, right? And it's just going to help them explore the reason why they go, no, of course I want to sell. Like, this is really why I want to sell. Like, I can't just refinance because of X, Y, and Z. Mirror and label. Mirror and label. And guess what? That's going to be some of the driving forces through an escrow that's going to go like this, right? And that's the key. Does that make sense, Brent? So you want to open up the options.
Yep.
Okay, good. What obstacles might keep you from reaching your goal? How could we remove them? And then essentially, now you want to move to something that's going to transition to what the actual purpose of this meeting was. Not only to build rapport, understand their goals and their challenges, understand what potential options, explore the reality of where they're at right now, understand the options of what's available, not proposing anything, just putting options on the table there. But what is the question that's going to transition to the potential next commitment?
It is assuming that we can agree on price and terms to your satisfaction, assuming we could overcome these objections, assuming I can present something that would get you to your goals and your dreams and your vision. Is there any reason why you wouldn't exclusively allow me to list the property?
And then what? You'd be quiet, right?
Yeah.
You let them think. And if you just sit there for like 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds, that's fine. Just be patient, right?
Yeah.
Give them a chance to think and say X, Y, or Z, or whatever that might be, right?
Yeah.
So Brent, when I bring up that objection, right? And let me actually back up too. I'm going to break down the statement again. Assuming we can agree on price and terms to your satisfaction, help you achieve, your capital gains tax solutions challenges, the toilet trash and liability challenges, being truly passive to where you want to be, your retirement, your lifestyle, all of these things working hand in hand with your cash flow, with how you exit. Is there any other reason, or is there any reason you could think of why you wouldn't allow me to exclusively list the property and sell it for you and help you achieve your goals?
Yeah.
And you want them to say, no, not that I could think of. And it's doing a couple things. A, you're laying out their challenges and you're laying out their ambitions and you're making it very clear and concise. And you're saying, I'm going to present a proposal to show you this, right? Well, great. I'd like to come back to you next week. I'm going to put a full proposal together, the sales comps, the rent comps, the details of how we're going to help you achieve X, Y, and Z, the backup plan in case it doesn't work for X, Y, and Z. And again, assuming we can agree on price and terms for your satisfaction, is there any other reason why you wouldn't allow me to? I might even ask it twice or 3 times. Even if they say no, I'm going to let them know how much time and energy I'm going to be putting in this proposal, especially if you think the person is maybe a little shaky on their no, right? But you're going to say, I'm going to put a full proposal together. I'm going to spend hours of detail, underwriting, researching, and laying this out, customized to your satisfaction, assuming we can agree on price and terms. Is there any reason why you wouldn't allow me to exclusively list the property? They might say, my son-in-law is a broker. What is your fee? Whatever it could be. And if I come up with an objection, Brent, what do you say of the objection? Well, what's your fee? Well, I don't know. How much do you charge?
If they ask me, what's your fee? How much do you charge? I'd like to discuss that after the proposal. But basically it's in line with the market and I think you're going to like what you see.
So sometimes it can depend, right? Because it can depend on the marketing. It could depend on if we're doing a bid environment. It could depend if I'm representing both sides. It could depend on a lot of things. So first of all, it depends, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. It's typically about 5 to 6%, and I'm typically co-oping, sharing with a buyer's broker. We have a couple different options to show you that, and also depends on on what the sales price comes back with. But let's put that to the side for a second. Assuming we can agree on price and terms, and to your satisfaction, address the fee and how we can earn our commission, and how we are all in alignment with that. And X, Y, and Z for your pros and cons, for why to sell, why not to sell. When I come back next week, is there any other reason why you wouldn't allow me to exclusively list a property?
My brother is a real estate agent. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Brother-in-law is in real estate. Brother-in-law is in real estate. I'm probably going to mirror that, right? Brother-in-law is in real estate. Tell me more about that. It sounds like you have some loyalty to your brother-in-law. Yep. Let him talk about that. Understand the brother-in-law's relationship. Understand what it is about it. Don't assume just because he's the brother-in-law, they want to hand him the listing. Just, hey, well, to your satisfaction, help you address your brother-in-law who's in real estate and find a way for him to be a part of the deal and be paid if he does the work. Is there any other reason why you wouldn't allow me to exclusively list the property? So you're not trying to overcome the objection there. You're trying to mirror and label what's behind that emotion, understand that, and then couple that into the entire proposal when you come back the following week, okay? And that, my friend, is the first listing appointment. So then you go back, you get you go get an actual proposal, you come back for the second listing appointment, Brent. So what are we trying to do there? What's our main goal?
Present the options, present your proposal. Basically, here's option one, here's option two, here's what we can do for you, and just basically present it in a way that is compelling.
Good. And to ask for a commitment to sell, to list and sell, right? So present, right? But it's not like present in the sense I'm just showing up with just, all right, here's page one, here's page two, here's page three, here's page four. It's really, hey, what would you like to cover today? All right. I want to make sure that we're spending our time that's, wisely and to answering questions you have on your mind. I can tell the list price right here is about $5 million. It's based upon the sales comps and the rent comps and the underwriting of your property. It's also based upon what's going on in the marketplace with interest rates, with them going higher. Now, the good news is you have an assumable loan, and this is how we're going to sell the property at a higher price because a buyer can assume the loan. And this is the story we're going to tell. This is the story about your rents. This is the story about your neighbors. This is the story about the rent comps. This is the story about the Starbucks down the street that just came in. This is the story about the jobs that are growing. Essentially, this is the story, the compelling story that we're going to be talking to buyers and brokers to bring as many offers to the table for you. It's all in this proposal right here. And they may ask you specifics. Great. Let me show you the sales comps. They may ask you specifically about the underwriting. You might even walk them through the underwriting and say, here's the cash on cash return. Because if you notice right here, your property taxes are going to be based upon the buyer's property tax based upon the new purchase price, not on your property taxes. You also didn't have a management fee here because you're managing it yourself, but this management fee is going to be accounted for. So you might actually go to the numbers page. I think that's always really important. But the point is you're not doing a 50-page review. You're specifically using the proposal as a way to answer their challenges and their objections. For example, here are the 5 options for tax deferral. 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5, or here are the 3 that we really want to focus on. And here are some of the outcomes for it. Here's how we can use the Deferred Sales Trust to increase your cash on cash return by 25 to 50% based upon some of these investments, based upon your exit price, based upon a number of things. Here are also some of the threats that you have. Your assumable loan is going to be it's going to be adjustable. The fixed loan is going to adjust in 3 years, and it's going to jump to 6.5 to 7%. These are the concerns that I have if I'm in your shoes to why you want to sell right now, right? So does that make sense, Brent? Any questions on that?
No, it's great.
And then you're going to ask for a commitment. You're going to say, Mr. Seller, and at this point, they should really be asking you to move forward, right? If you've done a good job of laying out how we're going to solve their challenges, how you're going to help them achieve their dreams and their ambitions. At this point, it's not a hard close. Are you ready to move forward? Is anything of what I just said doesn't make any sense, right? Am I way off on your pricing expectations? Like whatever it is, right? And they might bring up the fee at this point. and you might not address the fee. Here are the things we're going to be doing for the fee. Here's how we're going to earn the fee. Here, it's 100% conditional unless the deal closes. This is part of the process. But if you're laying out a compelling reason why the fee and your marketing and how you're going to do everything is going to lead to a higher price and a better terms, and it's going to get your full commitment and your full focus, honestly, I have not seen a fee ever get in the way when I've done a good job of proposing, right? When I've done a good job of understanding, mirroring, labeling, and laying out a clear proposal on how we're going to get there. So how are we doing on time here? We got about 8 minutes. So Brent, what else would you like to cover today besides those 3 things?
Probably prospecting, just, how to get the people on the phone, how to get their number, how to target people. How do you even get to the cold call? What's the steps before the cold call? What's the scripts? What's the interest generator that could be useful in this current market practically? I think that's the hardest part, is getting the people on the phone, getting them to listen to you for a little bit, so that you can get the meeting.
Yeah, I guess it's a great point. So I think you need to have an inbound strategy and an outbound strategy, and you need to be on the phones, and you also need to have people calling you, right? The best way to do that is by having listings, right? And talking and speaking with every single, let's say multifamily is our expertise, owner in the area, ideally once a quarter, once every 2 months, once every month, especially the major owners, talking with your clients, talking with lenders, hosting events, inviting clients, past clients to events, asking for referrals. That can help with the inbound, right? Creating content, creating video vlogs of your city, of what's going on, what's going with rent, sales comps. And then the outbound is just calling the people and giving them something valuable. Something as far as the interest generators could be a number of things. And you might have 3 or 4 that you might use. An interest generator is simply something that's compelling, something that's actionable, something that's timely, that someone can do right now. So for example, the interest rates, that's adjustable, right? A lot of the clients are considering selling because their interest rate they fixed a couple of years ago, but it's set to expire in a couple of years. So we're doing analysis for those clients to see the pros and cons of selling today versus waiting, what their cash flow is going to be. I'm curious, Mr. Seller, is that something you would be interested in taking a peek at? Yeah, I'd take a peek at that. That'd be really interesting. In fact, thank you for letting me know, reminding me that I did have a rate that's going to set to adjust. I haven't looked at that and haven't thought about it in the last 6 months. Excellent. It's a great reason for us to sit down and meet to go through it. So your interest rate on the phone call is going to be coming from the conversations mostly that you're going to be having. It could be rents that are decreasing or declining or flattening out. It could be the deal that just closed down the street. It could be, hey, I've got a great tax deferral strategy that eliminates the 1031 exchange. A lot of clients are taking advantage of it because they can diversify, get liquidity, and pay off debt, and oftentimes increase cash flow by 30 or 50% from what they have. Would you be curious to learn more about that? I would be. Great. Can you send me something? Well, look, I'd like to sit down with you and show this to you face to face and go through it with you in detail. In fact, I'm being in your area next week, Tuesday. Can I come back for 30 minutes and I will spend that time, giving you the main points and helping you to digest all of this very clearly. How does Tuesday or Thursday work for you next week? Right? Or I'm having this webinar coming up in 2 weeks that I'm going to be speaking on this specific thing. I'd like to send you that invite. I'm inviting all my clients and all potential clients like yourself. In other words, invite them to an event. They may not want to meet with you in person right away, but invite them to something in the future. And that's a webinar at the end of the week. That's a webinar in 2 weeks, right? Where you can get 3, 4, 5, 10 people in the room, all hearing and watching you present on this content, the specific thing about your interest generator. Now you're going to build up the know, like, and trust. And you're going to also see their commitment and how serious they are if they're willing to show up. Because half the time people aren't willing to commit because they're not willing to commit to the next step after that. They commit to the first one, they have to commit to the second one. So a good way to give them a kind of a in-between is to invite them to an event, right? And that event is you either presenting on a webinar or an event, it's a live event that helps to build the know, like, and trust. You can also obviously create content with that. And I think all those things help. Brent, any thoughts on that?
I think this is all really super good. I would like a deeper dive, and we got 3 minutes, so maybe like next week or whatever. But I've been writing down, taking notes, what's going on in the market, tax deferral strategy, recent sale, what's going on with rents, inviting them to an event. This is all like really good stuff. It's just like choosing one that makes a lot of sense. And I have like so much good stuff already for my market that I've already been kind of like naturally doing. But I think that this is good stuff. Good stuff. But I just got to get on the
Yeah,
phone.
go ahead.
I just got to get on the phone and make the calls. And then
Yeah.
that's a whole other thing. How to get the numbers, the names, who to target, what time to call. I don't use little practical things. I know a lot of that stuff, but I don't know everything. And so, just like what we're doing, with the negotiating and all this, the sales presentation, cold call.
I think 9 to 11 or 11 to 1, I think are good times. You time block 2 hours at a time. I think you have a CRM with a follow-up text message and email, right? Hey, I just left you a message or I just gave you a call. I'd love to talk to you a little bit about your property here. I think you always leave a message, right? I think it's a good thing to leave a message. You can also do voicemail drops. You can also do like a little mini video on YouTube. You can send that as a follow-up. Like there's powerful ways to engage and connect with people. As far as the LLC search, you can hire companies and VAs to do that, where they search like property radar and you give them like specific, parameters, and it pulls it. And then you take that data and you have someone scrub it, and it gives you emails and it gives you phone numbers. And then for us, we have outbound cold callers that cold call, 500 calls a week, every week. And that's all starting in March. That's what we have in place. So to me, you got to scale. If you're doing it yourself, it's going to be overwhelming to try to do all of these things all at once. Ideally, you have someone raising their hand who's actually has some interest in potentially selling, but it's already been scrubbed through by cold callers who've already connected with that person and asked them to raise their hand. So more to come on that, but that's been my strategy because I create a lot of content. I'm meeting with clients all the time. We have a lot of inbound already coming in. So part of that is now creating a team that can do the outbound cold calling, and so that down in the funnel, they're coming down a little bit more. Does that answer some of the questions, Brent?
Yeah, it's helpful. Quick overview.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, yeah, it's someone's got to do the tactical work of the cold call. It's either going to be you or it's going to be a team member. It's going to be a junior agent, or it's going to be you, or it's going to be a team member that's just a full-time cold caller. And that's the heavy lift. And if you don't have that constant outbound or inbound people coming in, it's going to be tough to generate enough leads to really exponentially grow your business. So we can talk more about that next week. In fact, maybe we'll go that more detail. It's 1:00 now. So Brent Silverbauer, if people want to get in touch with you and find you, where they can find you?
BrentSalesChico.com.
Excellent. And if people want to get in touch with me, you can go to capitalgainstaxsolution.com. You can also go to eXp Mastery. Okay. We want to also invite you to take a look at the eXp model. If you're a real estate, residential, or commercial business broker, M&A advisor, on what this can do for your team, for your profits, for your growth. It's an amazing company. Brent and I are both part of eXp, and we would love to talk with you directly about that and potentially joining our vision for what we're building out across the country and help you to grow your vision with your company. So it'd be really great to talk with you about that. If you're interested, you can go to expmastery.com. And if you want to learn more about how to eliminate the need for the 1031 exchange, you go to capitalgainstaxsolutions.com. We have a mastermind every Friday as well on how to eliminate the 1031 exchange to help you grow more listings. And then also check out the new book coming out. It's called Building a, we haven't actually finalized the title for sure, but it's coming out soon. This is like the copy here. Building a capital gains tax exit strategy or exit plan, or building a tax for exit strategy. We have like Kevin Harrington from Shark Tank in the book, and a number of others. Thanks so much for watching, and look forward to connecting with you soon. Please rate